strongly believe in their slogan, Diamambele Nyuma Muiko. This is the Toyota Cup. Witness the massive battle between Amakosi and Yanga on Sunday, 28 July at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC1 and Lisedi FM. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Update at noon, midday to 1 p.m.
And 18 minutes before 1 o'clock, let's take a look at some of your messages and then listen to a few of your voice notes as well. Still quite a bit to get through in this little space that we have left. Pramoro says, SK, Kaizer Chiefs is going to win its first trophy of the season this weekend in the Toyota Cup hosted in Bloemfontein. Sundown should be ready for Chiefs now that Chiefs has the whole Mangaung support. Yeah, I wish them to win more than just the Toyota Cup, but yeah, that's me. Black Pride says, Sakina, it should worry us that foreign people are in the country doing military training. We should be able to control how they enter the country. I remember this happened before in the Eastern Cape with lots and lots of guns floating around. We should be very worried. Tsepo, thanks so much. Tsepo says, Sakina, I'm currently listening to you on this platform. Online is the best. And Tsidiso also on that says, good afternoon, Sakina. Big shout out to you for a wonderful program. Radio media platform play a big role in broadcasting. I turn to my favorite platform shows for politics and international relations, USA Politics, and I wish Kamala Harris very well. Etseli Machu says, I love listening to Update at Noon. It's a great radio show. Not surprised with the numbers in South Africa. It is our most reliable source of information. Hence, the station managers must use the best talent suited to radio, not celebrities. You contribute to these stats. And Pilani says, news of a Libyan military camp is a vindication that having intelligence being in the president's office is a disaster, but only good for fighting his political battles. Serious crime is at an all-time high, proving how a failure and useless he is. Those are some of the messages. Thank you so much, everybody, for those messages. And thanks for also giving us some props here on Update at Noon. Really appreciate it. But, of course, can't happen without you. Let's listen to some of the voice notes.
Afternoon, Sakina Moses Sentebe. Sakina, we are very much making a lot of noise because of girls from Olesist in that high school, but we forget how our fellow blacks in taxi industry are treating us. We give them employment, we give them business, but look at the way they are treating us, like we are nothing. They are taking us like their farm. You see, they're animals. Whether we want or not, we have to body their business. We have to do with them in their business. But we are quite about that because it's black is black. Nothing is wrong. But if it is a white, hey, we're making a lot of noise. But what about these useless gangsters, the rapists in taxi industry, the way they are treating the blacks? Moses Teben.
Good afternoon, Sakina. Sakina, I'm not surprised by those illegal foreigners who are running a military base there in Mpumalanga. You know what? Our intelligence lack common sense or what? I don't know. Sakina, I'll tell you this. You know, these Pakistanis, the foreign nationals, these containers in their businesses, shops, those people, they have a lot of guns there. Because you know why? These Nyaupe boys, they go and steal guns and they sell them to these foreign shop owners. If you can come to Bloemfontein, police, just go search in those containers where they run these shops. You'll find a lot of guns in there. Thank you. It's Anonymous from Bloemfontein.
Good morning, Mr. Kena. This is Mbongo Sondisa Palindudlo. This again, I think the senior government or Minister of Police should look at this thing of KZN. This police are on a killing spree in KZN. It's no longer that the suspect were retaliating or they were fighting back with the police. Not at all. Now it's like that Ketomena hit squad. Why is it almost every day KZN police are killing people? They found the people hiding somewhere. Those criminals were dangerous. Don't they have tactical response team? Why they can't arrest the people, take them to court and then like if one gets sent to jail. Why is it always that they always kill people? Always, no, those people who are dangerous criminals. When are they gonna prove it? When are they gonna take them to court? Really, this thing is becoming difficult. I think the KZN police are becoming like dangerous and becoming hit squad. Thank you.
Good afternoon, SK. It's Brian Mabai from Protea Glen. I think it's high time that our country takes our law serious, including the human rights, including the security, including the home affairs, including the military. Last time we were talking about 20 Afghanistan nationals who were at the Bridge border post. Now recently is the people from Libya in our ground. One day will be the ones who are crying for freedom, because more is still yet to come, because our borders are still open for everyone. Let's close them. Brian Mabai, Protea Glen. Thank you.
Said Sakina, hi, I want this juicy cake. Counter from Sina. Said Sakina, Senzo Meiwa made a trial. Lice has short legs, manufactured lice, and the web of lice in Senzo are exposed bit by bit today. Someone is being protected here. No wonder Kelly Kumalo is not summoned before the court. Money has done its job. Money is working. Mushololo is firing all its cylinders. Shapa Mushololo, Shapa. Let me rest my case for now. Jesse K. Kaunda from Musina. Lekerna VXS Sakina.
Ma'am Sakin, good day. Hope you're doing well this afternoon. Like, what is the minister saying when he say they misrepresent themselves when they're coming in? What does it mean? Sometimes these ministers will say something that you don't understand. I would love, what does it mean? I would love to know what does that mean. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, I would love to know what does it mean.
Bishop Makwana from the Wahom Zone F. Happy Friday, Sakina. Sakina, our country is becoming more of a lawlessness country. I mean, look at how in KwaZulu-Natal, in order for criminals to be brought to justice, they have to be killed. Because they do not respect the law anymore. They do not respect the police. And it's because the police are embroiled in corruption. Look at how in prison you'd find lots of contraband. Who's bringing those contraband? It is the very same security guards. It can't be that we continue like this. We need stringent matters. I mean, this thing of us trying to be soft on criminals, it must end. Soft on us, it must end. We don't need dictatorship, but we need a government that is straight, a government that does for us. Look at how now you see people are trained for military extremism in South Africa. It can't be. We shouldn't allow these things.
Well, thanks so much, everybody, for those voice notes. And of course, you know, so many issues, concerning issues being raised. And you're absolutely right for doing that. And hopefully we'll be able to follow up. We couldn't get hold of the police, even though we had secured an interview. We are told that they have now moved on to processing of those who were arrested, the 95 Libyans. So they are busy with that process. So we understand that they perhaps not in a position to take our call at this point. But it does raise a lot of questions, because my first question is, how many other camps such as these potentially exist in the country? And it reminded me of, a vision one day where, you know, when you're in the township, so I was in El Dorado Park, and you have all of these spaza shops and the people who work there. But this one day, for some reason, I think the guys had all come together who work at these various spaza shops, and they were at the stadium for a cricket match. They were going to play cricket. I was shocked at how many of them there were. You know, that really took me aback. Like, Kanti, how many of these guys are there just here in El Dorado Park? And if that was that many of them just in El Dorado Park, how many are elsewhere? How many of them are actually here legally? And there are just so many questions that we need to ask. But I think, you know, it's good that this raid happened, and let's see if it's going to be taken further so that we can hopefully start getting a grip on the illegal immigration situation in the country. Let's take a quick break.
For credible and comprehensive coverage of South Africa's fast-moving mining industry and the people shaping it, click through to Creamer Media's Mining Weekly. From policy and innovation to market-moving trends, Creamer Media's Mining Weekly keeps your finger on the resources pulse. For even deeper insight, subscribe to our new look weekly magazine, out every Friday, together with engineering news. Creamer Media's Mining Weekly. Current, credible, comprehensive.
Attention ladies, join us on Saturday, August 17th, 2024 for the Star Choice is Yours Women's Day event at Altitude Fourways, a day dedicated to empowerment, inspiration and transformation. Engage with dynamic speakers, attend interactive conversations and connect with amazing women just like you. The event will be hosted by the fabulous Natingai. Don't miss out on this opportunity to celebrate and elevate yourself. Get your tickets now at www.quicket.co.za for 550 Rand, drinks, food and a gift bag included. Plus, stand a chance to win an honor product. This incredible event is powered by independent media and the Honor 200 series.
The South African hockey team will be highly focused on switching off any spark of attack from the Argentine in the women's Pool B clash. However, the South Americans have a vivid assignment to silence the African Queens. This is the Olympic Games Paris 2024. South Africa versus Argentina on Monday 29 July at 5:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and reports on SABC radio stations. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. SABC Sport is the proud broadcaster of the Olympic Games Paris 2024. Hashtag the global battle of great athletes.
For the love of the game.
Sakina Kamwendo on SAFM.
Now, Chief Justice Raymond Zondo has delivered his judiciary report as he prepares to exit stage at the end of August. Now, Zondo took the time to congratulate the incoming Chief Justice, Mandisa Maya, who has now been appointed as the new Chief Justice. A milestone for her, of course, after she made history as the first woman to head up the judiciary. Here's a snippet from that.
I must take this opportunity to congratulate Justice Mandisa Maya, our Deputy Chief Justice, on her appointment as Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa with effect from 1 September 2024. I think all of us know how historic this appointment is, and I thought that before I start, I should express my congratulations and also express my appreciation for the support that she has given me over the past 2 years since her appointment as Deputy Chief Justice. And of course, now she is Chief Justice Designate. It gives me great pleasure, and I regard it as a special honor and privilege to stand before you today in order to present the judiciary's annual report in respect of the year 2022 to 2023. We must account to the public for the performance of our judicial functions. After all, the positions that we hold as members of the judiciary, we hold because the public adopted a constitution which makes provision for us to hold these positions. Indeed, I want to go further and say the public is central to our constitutional democracy.
And that was outgoing Chief Justice Raymond Zondo.
We're delving deeper into the world of mining and engineering. From the coalface with Martin Creamer.
Well, it's that time again on a Friday when Updated Noon presents another update from the coalface with Martin Creamer, publishing editor of Engineering News and Mining Weekly. Good afternoon, Martin.
Good afternoon, Sakina.
Martin, South Africans want to add more value to the metals and minerals that they mine to create more jobs.
This started with the State of the Nation address when President Cyril Ramaphosa said we must try and not just export raw materials, but try and add some value to them. Then there was a debate, and it came down to Minerals Council South Africa, which put out a statement saying, yes, if there's a business case for this, let's go for it because there's jobs that can be created. They also said to the government, rather use a carrot than a stick to get us doing this because this will make it far more meaningful. And then popped up Bernard Swanepoel, who actually has rethought everything in the manganese front. So he was a very good example of what can be done to add value to your metals and minerals. Now, he's talking not about the mining side or the equipment side. He's talking about in between that. Now, what he's done in Mbombela with his MMC company is he has created manganese sulfate. Now, he is the only one in the world outside of China to produce this, and it's desperately needed in the electric vehicle market. And throughout the world, electric vehicles are just emerging at a very, very fast pace. So he's saying that's what we must look at. We must look at the middle of what happens between the mining and between the equipment that it's used for and between the products that it's used for. There is a big space. And filling that space at the moment is China on just about everything. So if we could see a way clear with other metals and minerals like Mbombela company has seen with manganese, this could be fantastic for jobs in South Africa, and everybody's rethinking.
Martin, a black-owned South African coal mining company, is currently leading the way in the generation of sun and wind energy.
This is amazing. This is Seriti Resources. Seriti Resources went into coal. They've got some of the biggest coal mines in South Africa at the moment. They're supplying into Eskom. They're supplying the world. They export as well. But they say they don't want to just be known as a coal mining company. They want to be known as an energy company. So they've gone into Seriti Green. And already if you go to Mpumalanga, you'll see these very tall masts going up, very high masts. So they're into the wind already, and they believe that they'll also go into sun. They seem to see this as a very important extension of coal mining. And, they're setting an example for other coal miners because this is really the way to go. Coal mining has got a bit of a finite horizon, and although they're in coal and they will be in coal for a long time, they want to be in energy that is clean and green. And so they've already made that move, which again is creating work and jobs in Mpumalanga.
And just finally, Martin, public-private partnership providing a powerful performance potential on South Africa's iron ore line.
The iron ore line has tremendous potential. We're not exporting the volume of iron ore that we could. If that line was really doing well and the port was doing well, we could export a lot more iron ore. And there you see, again, if you're exporting, you're strengthening the rand because the demand for the rand is there. It lifts the demand. It strengthens the rand. It has very important implications for the people of South Africa. So what is being pointed out now by Mpumi Zikalala, she's the CEO of Kumba Iron Ore, is that a lot of promise is coming from this public-private partnership, and she can already see the transparency, and there's a big report coming out before September that will probably put us into a far more competitive situation.
Martin, thanks so much. We'll talk again next week. Martin Creamer back with another edition of At the Coalface, same time next Friday. And with that, that's all our time. Thanks so much to the team out in Auckland Park, Butumbolelo, who helped me here in GQ. And of course, have a fantastic weekend. Be safe. Let's get back here together on Monday. But right now, it's time for the latest news with Mudupi Makhalimele.
Thank you very much, SK. The top stories at 1 o'clock. The Chief Justice presents his annual judiciary report, and Libyan nationals arrested at a suspected military camp in Mpumalanga. A very good afternoon. Chief Justice Raymond Zondo has emphasized the importance of the judiciary being accountable to the public for its performance. He was presenting the 6th Annual Judiciary Report for the 2022-23 financial year at the Constitutional Court in Joburg. The purpose of the report is for the judiciary and the public to take stock of the work that has been done by the judiciary. Zondo says that too often those in positions of power forget that they must serve the people of the country. He says judicial officers must be held accountable.
We must account to the public for the performance of our judicial functions. After all, the positions that we hold as members of the judiciary, we hold because the public adopted a constitution which makes provision for us to hold these positions. Indeed, I want to go further and say the public is central to our constitutional democracy. It goes to the centrality of the people.
The head of School of Governance at Wits University, Themba Maseko, says the era of coalitions and the government of national unity requires public service leaders to be capacitated with a new set of skills. Speaking at the University of Joburg conference today, reflecting on 30 years of democracy, Maseko said that reform of the public service needs to ultimately strengthen the link between ordinary citizens and government.
You no longer have one party manifesto that informs government programs. You now have a multiplicity of policies, aspirations, manifestos that need to be translated into a government program, and that is where our executive education programs come in to give our public servants the capacity, the skills to operate in this environment that is totally different and challenging. But I also believe that we should not perceive the existence or creation of coalition governments as a negative. In my view, it is a positive thing because it then introduces a new element of accountability.
EFF leader Julius Malema has weighed in on calls that Mbuyiseni Ndlozi should replace Marshal Dlamini as Secretary General in the party's upcoming conference. This as the party's former Student Command President Mpomorolane endorsed Ndlozi on social media as the next SG in the upcoming People's Assembly in December. Malema has, however, denied reports of the pair contesting the SG position.
Like I'm saying, whether you have Mbuyiseni or you have Marshal, you've got your best. And if there's going to be such a contestation, it will be amongst the best of the EFF. But I don't see it happening. I don't know. You know conferences, but I don't see any kind of contest happening. So we will come back with whoever the conference gives us.
Police in Mpumalanga have arrested 95 Libyan nationals at a suspected military training camp in Masoyi outside White River. The arrest came after Home Affairs raised concerns about a group of foreign nationals that may have misrepresented themselves when applying for visas to come into the country. It's alleged that they came into the country to train as security personnel since April this year. However, police say it looks like the group has been doing military training. Police spokesperson Donald Mdluli.
For now, they are apprehended because we believe they could have maybe contravened some of the regulations in terms of immigration. This place, according to SIRA, it's designated for security training. But now, as you could see, it's a military base, according to our understanding, and also from the guidance from SIRA. They said it is a military base, of which that still going to be checked.
And the Weather Service has issued an advisory for orange level 5 disruptive rainfall over Cape Town and the surrounding municipalities this weekend. The city's Charlotte Powell says all city services will be put on standby to deal with any impacts from the forecast.
We advise the public to please take heed of the current advisory and to start implementing any possible mitigation measures around their properties in the interim. This would include clearing out drainage systems and cleaning gutters, removing dead tree branches and other obstructions, and digging trenches around their homes to divert water away.
The top story at 1, Chief Justice Raymond Zondo has emphasized the importance of the judiciary being accountable to the public for its performance. For SAFM News, Ke Mudupi Makhalemele. Up next, The Full Circle.
Channel more reasons to feel encouraged on Afternoon Express, Tuesday at 6 p.m. on S3, as Councillor Sadia Southgate shares how mental health support helps us see a brighter day. Making sense of food labels gets us eating right. Chef Dumi and Jay make a whipped feta and grilled lamb flatbread. That's Afternoon Express, this Tuesday at 6 p.m. only on S3. Repeat Sundays at 8:30 a.m.
Be prepared to perform with Bridgestone. Purchase 2 or more tires at participating dealers and stand a chance to win your share of 2 million rand worth of Samsung products ranging from phones, tablets and TVs. Enter now at bridgestone.co.za. T's and C's apply. Bridgestone. Prepare to perform.
The incredible story is written by the classical performance of a magnificent Olympian. Josiah Tugwani painted Atlanta in the colors of Africa Borwa. He took center stage and rounded off a memorable Olympics in style. Tugwani emerged victorious in a 124-man battlefield from 79 countries to claim gold in just 3 seconds. Every countryman wants a medallion. Ezekiel Sibeng delivered silver in the men's 800 meters. Marianne Kriel joined the podium with a collection of bronze in the women's 100-meter backstroke. Magical moments of the Olympics. Brought to you by SABC Sport, proud broadcaster of the Olympic Games Paris 2024.
For the love of the game.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Life we attain, and when we don't let the music play now.
hearts alone remain. Let it play on and on. Singing it always with you. Singing it always with you. When I go my way, do.
It definitely goes down as her most seminal body and offering of work. That was Lahlumlenze, rather. Lahlumlenze coming from the album Zabalaza, which was released in 2005. It was Thandiswa Mazwai's breakout album, and in fact it celebrates 20 years, rather. Let me put it. It's been a long morning. It celebrates 20 years, and it's been part of the reflections that have been going on for the first quarter of the year amongst her fans and, of course, herself as she got ready to release a brand new project, as well as reflections by the icon Brasipho Sithole, who was executive producer on Thandiswa Mazwai's debut album Zabalaza. Oskido having been on the production of this particular song, Lahlumlenze. And of course, you know that DJ Oskido, the legend himself, the living legend, DJ Oskido, has had quite the formidable hand in as far as Thandiswa Mazwai's career goes. He's collaborated with her on a number of music projects way back from the days of her being a part of Boom Shaka, and then of course branching off as an individual artist until today, still very much somebody who's within the inner circles of Thandiswa Mazwai, who she confers with from time to time in as far as the creative process is concerned. So lots of really great people, innovative creatives came together for the makings of this album, and it's no doubt that if there was ever to be a Thandiswa Mazwai debut album, Zabalaza was definitely going to cement its place in the pages of South African music history. And we open up, of course, with the single Lahlumlenze from that song. I hope that you are having a great Friday. We're having a relatively good Friday. If we had to score it 1 till 10, maybe we'll score it at about 6, 7, because we are managing to push through our Friday to-do list. There's so many things that have happened from the moment my team and I opened our eyes to finding ourselves bringing you this show. And on Friday, we like to say that Fridays around here are for us to kekeleza and take things a little bit easy. And we endeavor to do that. But some Fridays win, despite our best attempts to just ease you into the weekend. We are going to be, however, taking a creative and artistic focus today. And we are opening up with stages, pages, screens and more. We're taking a look at an upcoming exhibition. It is 3 solo exhibitions that are going to be taking place as part of the Southern Guild calendar in Cape Town. And then we're going to be touching base with the National Arts Festival. And we're looking at their call for the 2025 National Playwright Competition. One of my favorite moms, and she is, one of the people steering the ship at the National School of the Arts, Brenda Sekelaridis, is going to be joining us today to talk about a collaboration between the National School of the Arts and the Joburg Youth Ballet. On the other side of 2 o'clock, we have more by way of artistic and creative conversations, and we'll keep you abreast as to what those look like closer to the time. 086 000 2032 and 061 410 4107. That is our WhatsApp line.
The reality is that 90% of South Africans don't save enough for retirement. This National Savings Month, why not be part of the 10% who do? Choose an interest rate of up to 12.6% after 60 months with the Nedbank Electronic Optimum Plus account. Anyone over 55 can open theirs via the Nedbank Money app in less than 2 minutes. Join the bank that's best for your savings goals. See money differently. Nedbank. We're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
It's Winter Carnival at Food Lovers Market. Get 28-day matured beef rump steak for only $99.99 per kilo. Beef biltong or Dravos for a low $199.99 per kilo. Beef potjiekos stew for $69.99 per kilo. And 2 500-gram packs of Food Lovers lean beef mince for just $79.99. Valid till this Sunday at Food Lovers Market. Winter Carnival now on.
The Serengeti, located on the northern part of Tanzania, bordering Kenya on the north and Ngorongoro in the south. Home to the African Big Five and millions of zebras, birds and other predators. Serengeti 2 returns to the unspoiled corner of the Serengeti for more animal drama. There's humor, heartbreak and nail-biting tension as new characters move in and familiar faces continue their stories. Channel your inner adventurer with Serengeti 2, Sundays at 6 p.m. only on S3. Open up.
Stages, pages, screens, and more on The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
Hey, by the way, I hope you're having a better Friday than us. I forgot to ask. I hope you're having a better Friday than us, and that you are winning. You are winning whatever you set out to do for the week. That you are getting it accomplished. Right now, we are chatting with Jonathan Blanche, who is the director at Southern Guild, and they are thrilled to announce a 3-part solo exhibition featuring 3 incredible artists that's opening next month. And I think I'm excited because part of this lineup is newly represented artist Mangaliso Nzuza, who had an incredible showing at the beginning of the year at the Investec Art Fair. How are you doing, John? Are you good?
Good afternoon, Bridget. I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. I mean, I cannot contain my excitement because in my eyes, Mangaliso Nzuza is one of those breakout artists that people must be paying attention to after that incredible showing of just 2-3 pieces at the Investec Art Fair at the beginning of the year.
Absolutely. I think Mangaliso has such a unique voice. First, I just want to say thank you. It's wonderful to be speaking with you again, and I'm hearing your excitement and sharing it. But I think Mangaliso is one of those unique artists in his generation that really does break out because he has such a unique aesthetic. It really is a voice that is quite particular, immediately recognizable, meaningful. And we are thrilled that we actually announced Mangaliso's representation yesterday, so it's official. And obviously we'll be sealing the deal with the opening of his solo exhibition alongside the 2 others at the end of next month. But it'll be his biggest showing to date. So yes definitely something people are very much looking forward to.
And we're definitely going to get into the exhibition. Just on a side note, if it was you and I kikiing over the kitchen counter, anytime, and the respect I have for Southern Guild and what you do for South African creatives, but anytime Southern Guild announces their representation of an artist, I immediately think, well, there goes the price point. I can't afford them now.
I understand. We do have a great eye, but you know what? Mangaliso's market is very healthy, but it's also placed in the right place. I would implore people, reach out. You never know what's possible in terms of, what can be acquired, sizes, etc. So don't be discouraged.
Let's get into this exhibition. So it is featuring 3 solo exhibitions that are opening. Tell us a bit more.
Yes, so 3 separate solo exhibitions, but I think the common thread between these exhibitions is that these are young artists that each have a very distinctive voice and a way of looking at the world, each in their different ways. So we're very excited to bring these young artists into the fore, and also because they each look at such specific facets of society. So I'll start with Joshua Gerard, who's the artist that's been with Southern Guild for the longest time out of these 3, and this is his second solo exhibition with Southern Guild. So he's still a young artist, but he's matured in his voice. So Joshua is the artist that is known for painting on the back of glass. So he does these reverse paintings. And I think what I find most interesting with him is his process, because he first takes photographs. He sets up a scene with friends. He brings in various props. He styles it, takes photographs. He transfers that image onto his iPad and digitally draws it before then once again transferring it onto the glass. So it's a very interesting mixture of editing, looking closely, making decisions as an artist. And it's a commentary on how pervasive social media is in our society, because he calls these paintings of his little windows into people's existence. So very excited about this new body of work, because he has just evolved in his language and there's a sense of maturity coming through.
Yeah. And before we move on to the next artist, just a quick one, because I was perusing Joshua's IG pages, and I found it interesting the past work that he's created last year, for instance. I know you showed some of it in Miami under the Jazz Lounging collection. And I found interesting the symbolism, the representation and the symbolism of that work. Are you able to just give me some history as to what that entails?
Absolutely. I think there are a few, as you say, symbols and motifs that come through in Joshua's work very particularly. I mean, obviously he uses the simplified form and sort of color field, which does place him in conversation with art history. Like one of his inspirations is an American painter, Alex Katz, and that's actually where the title of this exhibition comes from, which is in the present tense. In terms of particular symbolism, you'll notice that his figures are always wearing masks.
Yes.
So it's interesting because while he is taking photographs of specific people and he knows whom he chooses to present, he wants to show them to the world as nameless, faceless, wearing masks, so that one may insert oneself into this picture. Maybe this could be someone you know, maybe this could be you. So there's an interesting tension there.
Yeah.
The mask has historically had horns, so it's kind of this, he has these soft scenes, and just to see the horns was kind of like a kind of attention. But in the new series, he's actually no longer, the horns are not as prominent, so he's kind of moving away. So the mask is evolving as his practice is evolving.
I see. All right. And who else is exhibiting?
Yeah, so Mangaliso, as you said, which we're very, very excited about. And Mangaliso is this interesting artist. He's kind of come onto the scene, burst onto the scene with such wonderful energy. But interestingly enough, he hasn't actually had a solo exhibition.
Oh.
So he's been wanting one and been working behind the scenes for a long time on the solo exhibition. So it's really a culmination of a long time of working and refining his technique. So if you were to look at his paintings, you would immediately see there are sort of cubist references. It takes you back to that, late 19th century painting. But then the interesting thing is, of course, is that he is a young black painter from Durban, and he mixes these two, all these influences to create this very unique style that kind of reminds us of Peter Clark in South Africa. So he's coming from that sort of modernist school, but bringing it into the contemporary. So that's why his work is so immediately recognizable, because it blends these things so seamlessly and in a way that is very unique. The exhibition is titled An Open Letter. In previous series, he's often depicted interior scenes. So like, let's say people gathering around a table or in a bedroom. And it's interesting that this series, most of the figures come outside. So they've come into the wild, they've come into the open. Some people have commented that perhaps he's looking at the natural area of Durban where he grew up. There is a lusciousness. But in the same sense, his paintings don't feel like they're from a particular place. They're kind of an imagined space. So once again, maybe similarly to Josh, you can insert yourself in them. And I think that's why people gravitate towards them.
Yeah. And just in our final few moments, I know it is a three-hander. You're also featuring a Zimbabwean-born UK-based ceramist on this one as well. Tell me more. And that one is Invisible Hand.
Invisible Hand. So Southern Guild has a residency program, and we were lucky enough to have Zante Shomes join us for the residency program this year. She's created 3 ceramic vessels that they replicate weaving techniques and basketry from Zimbabwe, but in ceramic form. So it's really speaking about women's work, stitching, mending, those things, but through a post-colonial lens. So it's 3 works, a very strong, bold exhibition, speaking on these post-colonial themes.
Yeah, very exciting times indeed at Southern Guild as you continue to grow the roster of incredible South African artists and creatives. It's always a pleasure, and this exhibition is going to be running concurrently from the 29th of August until the 31st of October. So if you
we invite people to come to the opening, of course.
Oh yes, and the opening as well. So if you find yourself in Cape Town, definitely want to go and check out the space at Silo 5 at the V&A Waterfront. That was Jeanne Terra Blanche, who's the director at Southern Guild. They always do incredible work and really represent the creme de la creme of South African creatives and artists. And I chuckle at the fact that once they sign someone on, it's an endorsement both locally and internationally that you are set to go out there and really conquer your slice of the creative pie. But it's also, endorsements and stamp of approvals also come with increased price tags. And so if you did not get Mangaliso Nzuza, for instance, earlier in the year, his works literally sold out during the Vernissage at the Investec Art Fair, which is the opening night before the opening night. By the time the general public got in on the weekend, his work already had red stickers. And what was interesting for me was observing the school tours coming through, and that a lot of the children on their own accord and choice tended to just stop at Mangaliso's work and then sit there with their sketch pads and reinterpret and recreate, because that's how capturing and captivating his pieces are. And they're quite large-scale pieces, but they cause you to stop and pause and have a look. Madupi is standing by with your headline news.
Thank you very much, Sister Bridge, and a very good afternoon. In your headlines this hour, Disaster Risk Management in Cape Town says all lanes have been reopened on the N1 near Sable Road at Century City. Western Cape Infrastructure says part of the N7 near Citrusdal has been reopened following heavy rains 2 weeks ago, which flooded roads and washed away infrastructure. And final rallies have been held in Venezuela ahead of a pivotal presidential election on Sunday. Details of these and other stories coming up 2 o'clock.
stages, pages, screens, and more on The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
From talking all things visual arts to talking all things playwright for the 2025 National Playwright Competition, we are catching up with the National Arts Festival Artistic Director, Rusiria Sithel. How are you doing this afternoon, Rusiria?
Hi, Bridget. It's Sarah here. It's great to be with you again. I'm all right. You okay?
I am great. Thank you, Rusiria. Let's talk about, firstly, are you rested after the Arts Festival?
I have tried to get some rest in, but as you can see, carrying on because we have the National Playwright Competition open. So, no rest for the wicked.
Absolutely no rest for the wicked at all. Let's talk about the National Playwright Competition. Give us some context and some history around it.
Sure. The National Playwright Competition has been running for let's say 5 cycles now, because it's not totally over a year, and we had a little bit of a COVID bump. But essentially, it's a competition that is set up to promote and support new scriptwriters to develop new work in South Africa. It's an area, it's a kind of risky area. If one is wanting to write a script, you invest in time into writing a script, and there's no guarantee that your scripts will then kind of carry on to be developed into a play or into film. So the National Playwright Competition looks to really open up the possibility for either people who are already writing scripts or people who haven't, who are interested in writing but have never actually gone into the world of script writing. And it's a competition that is also open to any language, or often we see like combinations of languages, interesting creative approach to language use. And we seek to open up this call and get submissions, which eventually, through a kind of complicated adjudication process, we would then select a winner, and that script gets made into a play, which is performed at the National Arts Festival.
I think a lot of people, Rusiria, don't understand how difficult it is, perhaps for thespians and theatre practitioners to actually develop work from ideation to development to actually seeing a full-fledged production on stage. We take it for granted that, you're creative and you have a story in your head and you just pen it and boom, we have a play.
Absolutely. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of time and a lot of people to get a play onto the stage. And I think this particular moment of writing a play is, it's of course, it's the starting point for a play that is based on a script, and it can be, let's say, a kind of a lonely and risky kind of process. And I think, what we do with this competition is we have a mentorship process that is part of the competition. So the call is open now. People can apply. You apply with a kind of sample writing. The deadline is on the 2nd of August. And what we do is we then have a whole team of adjudicators who work across different language groups and then select 5 finalists. And those finalists then get kind of matched with a mentor. So someone who is a thespian, works in theatre, is involved in script writing, or is a script writer themselves, and they work with the finalists for about 3 months to facilitate and assist with developing the play. Developing the script. And you're right, because once you have a script, you then after that you're then developing a play with costume design and stage design and actors and directors and lighting, and it's a massive endeavor. And it's true for those who maybe aren't on the inside. When you kind of rock up for a show and it's a fantastic evening at the theatre, it's not evident at that point the kind of the time and the energy and the various people who are involved in that process. And let me say also all the money that's involved. We've also partnered with Heineken Beverages for the National Playwright Competition, and they have been supporting previously with Distell, but now also with Heineken Beverages, and they've also been fantastic in staying with us through the long road and helping to provide this opportunity.
I mean, weirdly enough, and I was going to ask you about that next, because it's quite the unusual partnership, right? One wouldn't think of a beer beverage as playing a critical role in South African, particularly in the creative sector that's focused on theatre.
Well, I'm glad that they are, let me say that. But I mean, the award originally, so in its inception, was the Adam and Rosalie Small Award. And these are two thespians and creative people who Rosalie Small working in education and social justice, and Adam in a kind of a poet and a writer. So the award kind of was a meeting of these two individuals' passions and what they wanted to contribute. And I think we were really grateful when at that time it was Distell who then took over. And there was a lot of interest in, supporting the possibility of our, as South Africans or people living in South Africa, our stories about our lives, our issues, and with a particular interest in social justice. And as time goes, so things evolve. Heineken Beverage now take over. We don't deliberately put emphasis on seeking applications or writing that is focusing on social justice, but we do think that it still is very prominent. These are South African creative people are often reflecting on their lives, on their history, on their position. So this does come through, and I think this trajectory of the support, brings a bit of light. And I think Heineken has certainly Heineken Beverages has reinstated their interest in supporting kind of South African voices, South African stories in this creative area.
You touched a little bit about the opportunity and what it provides for the finalists. And I know that each of the finalists will receive 5,000 Rand in cash money, as well as being assigned a writing mentor to help them complete their script. And then the overall winner, as far as I understand, is going to receive an additional 20,000 Rand in prize money as well. And I mean, the past alumni of this award include the likes of Kolega Putuma, who's gone on to just be incredible in the world of literature, poetry, and of course as a theatre practitioner. So this really is an opportunity for a young writer, or even perhaps an established writer who's just looking for that boost.
Yes. No, exactly. There's a range of winners over the years, and Koleka, of course. I mean, she's amazing. She was a Standard Bank Young Artist winner, and I think it's important maybe to say that we look for applicants who are over the age of 18, but it's about unpublished writers. So it's not necessarily about young writers. So exactly, if you're kind of have packed on the years and are much further on in life, but have never kind of written a play, it's absolutely open to those kind of submissions. And I think in addition to, so you mentioned the prize money, which of course is kind of really great that with Heineken Beverages we can offer that. But I think in addition to that, the kind of the big picture is that the winning script, National Arts Festival then takes on to produce, and then we premiere it at the festival. And that's, I mean, we look at what the cost of the work is, but it's a few hundred thousands of rands to put together to produce and stage a play. So all of that is, I guess, that's the full extension of for the winner of the competition. Can I say our last winner, Sibonga Konke Mama, she I think was a journalist and had done other writing, but had never written for theatre or written a script before. And so it's really open. And I think the one other really interesting thing about the adjudication process is that it's all done totally blindly. So submitted text, we insist and we check that there are no names, there's no addresses, there's no indication of, it's just a script, and that the whole process, that the processes of adjudication is all done blindly. And it's very interesting. Our last set of finalists were all 5 women. So
Okay.
it's also really, really exciting to kind of see the text come through and who eventually are finalists and then who is our final national playwright winner and what that play looks like at the festival. Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing what comes out of this and hopefully catching it at the 2025 National Arts Festival. That was Rusera Sithel, who's the National Arts Festival Artistic Director. And of course, the call to entries close on the 2nd of August 2024. So if you are an unpublished writer and you think this is an opportunity for you, remember that closing date is on the 2nd of August 2024. And you can, I'm sure, mosey on over to the National Arts Festival website for all the respective information and finer details. It's just gone 20 to 2 o'clock. Let's take a quick pause and then we come back and we continue and we look at a collaboration between the Joburg Youth Ballet and the National School of the Arts.
Channel more reasons to feel encouraged on Afternoon Express, Tuesday at 6 p.m. on S3, as Councillor Sadia Southgate shares how mental health support helps us see a brighter day. Making sense of food labels gets us eating right. Chef Dumi and Jay make a whipped feta and grilled lamb flatbread. That's Afternoon Express, this Tuesday at 6 p.m. only on S3. Repeat Sundays at 8:30 a.m.
Discover the new snack and save deals at Dis-Chem Pharmacies. Get 2 plus 1 cheapest free on any bars, drinks, plus snacks. When you're in the mood for a comforting chocolate, or craving a collagen bar for a beauty boost, or even some biltong for the upcoming game, get to Dis-Chem for our snack and save combos. There's plenty to choose from, with something for everyone. Offers valid until 11 August. Excludes all advertised products. Dis-Chem Pharmacies. Better health starts here. The great flavor of African football will be demonstrated when Mzansi's Kaizer Chiefs FC tackle Tanzanian Giants Young African Sports Club. The Kosi Nation says, "Rise, Kosi, rise," while the boys from the East strongly believe in their slogan, "Diamambele Nyuma Muiko." This is the Toyota Cup. Witness the massive battle between Amakosi and Yanga on Sunday, 28 July at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC1 and Lesedi FM. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Stages, pages, screens, and more on The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
And this little pony show continues in fast speed today as we gallop down the hours of the day. We're catching up with Brenda Sakalaridis, who is the artistic director for the National Arts School. The National School of the Arts, let's put it that way. And they've got a collaboration with the Joburg Youth Ballet and NSA. How are you doing, Brenda? You good?
Oh, Bridget, I'm doing very well, thank you.
Lovely to chat to you as always. It is exciting times. You've got a brand new production that's ready to hit Lesedi at the Joburg Theatre. Tell us a bit more about this season firstly, and then we can get into the production.
Wonderful. Well, this season, as you mentioned, there's a collaboration between 2 very important youth arts organizations, the Johannesburg Youth Ballet, which was born in 1976, and of course the National School of the Arts, which is, started in the mid-60s and is still going strong here in 2024. And this year, in a beautiful season, and it's absolutely described in the name, Symbiosis, it's coming together. It's got so much shared history, and it's got so much shared vision to support young dancers and showcase them in a production with excellent values and exposed to wonderful contemporary and relevant kind of dance forms, and showcasing it to the public. So that we're fulfilling our mandate of providing these opportunities for our emerging young artists.
Yeah. In fact, as you allude, Brenda, this is a match made in heaven between the Joburg Youth Ballet and the National School of the Arts, because you guys share very similar histories, but more importantly, share similar objectives as to the role you play for young creatives.
Absolutely. And these 2 organizations actually have held hands for a long time. And it's wonderful to keep on going back to those moments and saying, let's highlight it. Let's highlight these values because we all know that partnerships make us stronger. Collaborations are where the future lies. Evident in our wonderful government, with our government of national unity. Let's find the power, let's find the strength, and work together so that we can serve the greater community. And this was a wonderful opportunity with the support, I must add, of the National Arts Council, who are very generous, obviously, in supporting these visionary kind of, proposals. And we were very grateful that the National Arts Council actually, saw value in this proposition and are actually funding this particular season. Dance Spectrum, which is a National School of the Arts brand, and Symbiosis, which obviously describes the coming together and finding the shared vision of the production and the objectives.
So what can we look forward to by way of, some of the showcases that form part of Symbiosis?
Well, as the dance spectrum part alludes to, it's a wonderful spectrum of dance. So we are looking at wonderful classical romantic ballet, and it's very much an adaptation. I have to tell all the purists out there that it's an adaptation of Les Orphedes, which is the non-narrative romantic ballet. So the young artists are being exposed to a very typical sort of ballet form in terms of a romantic ballet. So you've got the beautiful bell tutus, it's the Chopin music, and showcasing, these little ballerinas. So that is the one where the collaboration between the youth ballet and the National School of the Arts ballet dancers really comes to the fore. So that's the first half. We're going to do the drum dance from La Bayadère. We've got the adaptation of Les Orphedes, and we've also got, wonderful Spanish, and we believe that's all going to be in the first half. So more of the classical dance forms. And then we have an explosion of contemporary dance. And here we are so proud to have visiting alumni coming back to the school. And that's always so significant because they care so much for their school that they're coming back to share their journeys with the current learners. So we have from Ballet Black, UK-based, Bongani Mehlomakulu, who's coming to do something fantastic. He's got this Amma ballet, and he is doing a piece called Amma Swans, and it's a beautiful synthesis of obviously classical ballet and the syncopated rhythms of Amma piano. So it's very relevant. It's very brave, taking that kind of vocabulary and exploring it. So we've got contemporary art forms in the second half, which includes 4 pieces from our NSA learners that were showcased earlier on in the year. And these are, young emerging choreographers, exciting styles, exciting subject matter that they're covering. So for the audiences, we have got a spectrum of dance. We've got classical ballet, we've got contemporary, we've got some of the Amma piano, Amma ballet, and some hip-hop as well, sort of taken to a different level with Tato Nkwe, who's also an alumni of actually the Johannesburg Youth Ballet, coming in together for our Symbiosis. Yeah.
And I think I read somewhere that Mark Hawkins, the artistic director at the Joburg Youth Ballet, actually said that this Symbiosis is very much about celebrating the richness of South African choreographers and choreography.
Indeed, he's absolutely right, and it's wonderful to have Mark, at the helm of the Johannesburg Youth Ballet, embracing such a diverse vision. So yes, it was part of our proposal to the National Arts Council to say, let's showcase young choreographers. Let's showcase the innovation that we have at our fingertips here. And it's also wonderful, too, because it's so representative of who we are here as South African artists. It's not referential. It's like freshly ours. And so, absolutely, it is. It's a wonderful celebration of our emerging choreographers, both in the profession, who are really working in the professional sphere, and of course the emerging choreographers from the National School of the Arts.
And Brenda, let me just get to the finer details as we wind down our conversation. I know that you're opening from the 1st to the 4th of August at the Lesedi at the Joburg Theatre. What else do we need to know?
You need to know that the Thursday is a low-price preview, so the tickets are priced at 50 Rand.
Oh.
Over the weekend, we have matinees, and we know that the public likes matinees, especially they've got, younger families. So there's a matinee on Saturday at 2:30 and Sunday at 2:30, and then we have evening shows on Friday at 7 and on Saturday at 7. And all the bookings are through web tickets. or go straight to the Joburg Theatre website, and that will link you to web tickets. We'll also be selling tickets at the door, and we can't wait to welcome, the friends and the supporters of both the Johannesburg Youth Ballet and, of course, the National School of the Arts, which deserves so much love and support from the public because it has been giving the sector amazing artists for over 50 years and will continue to do so. We look forward to the support. Obviously, box office helps the school, it helps the youth ballet, because we all need funds at this particular juncture of our history.
Absolutely. That was Brenda Sakalaridis, and she's the artistic director for the National School of the Arts. And this is why she's my favorite parent at the National School of the Arts. Always so passionate and so driven about ensuring that, the creative kids from the school get their dues in whichever ways possible. So that is opening on the 1st to the 4th of August, Symbiosis. It's a collaboration between the Joburg Youth Ballet and the National School of the Arts. And as you heard, if you book your tickets for the first, you get the low-priced preview. So you get your tickets at almost 50% off, right? And then Saturday and Sunday, there are some matinees there as well for the whole family. You can bring through all the little ones and come and enjoy a beautiful day of dance, ballet, and choreography. Web Tickets has all the booking information for you, or you can just simply log on to the Joburg Youth Ballet. That's happening at the Joburg Theatre. Lesedi at the Joburg Theatre from the 1st until the 4th of August. It's time for us now to get into Nalibali. While we're still on the theme of younger South Africans, let's get into Nalibali, which will run us to the top of the hour. Madupi's coming through with your 2 o'clock news, and then on the other side of 2 we continue.
Hello friends and welcome to Nalibali. Don't allow a day to go by without reading a book, because reading develops language skills and vocabulary. Reading books is also a way to relax and reduce stress. It is important to read a good book at least for a few minutes each day to stretch your brain muscle for healthy functioning. Let's listen to today's story called Mary's Amazing Book, written by Winnie Bukeya. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and dance! Mary was a good girl, but she was very quiet and did not talk a lot. This was mostly because she was shy and because she felt that she had nothing interesting to say. Her schoolmates thought she was unfriendly, and Mary sometimes felt very lonely. But that all changed when Mary and her family moved to a new house. When they started living in the new house, Mary started exploring. At the top of some old wooden stairs, she found a huge dark room in the roof, full of dusty old things. In one corner of the room, she found a big box with all kinds of strange things. Under everything, right at the top, she found something really special. It was a very old book with a heavy brown leather cover that had gold written on it. But what made it truly special was how the gold writing on the cover shone in the darkness. What's more, the book appeared to be dangling in the air. Mary looked and looked, but she couldn't find anything holding it up. Quickly, she took the book down to her own room and hid it there until night. When everyone had gone to bed and she was sure no one would see her or hear her, Mary sat in a room with her puppy and started reading the book. Mary had only just started to read it when her puppy started speaking to her.
Wow, what an interesting book you found. It seems to have some lovely stories.
Mary couldn't believe it, but the puppy continued talking, telling her all sorts of exciting things and asking 1,000 questions. After some time, Mary stopped being surprised and became calm again. She quietly asked,
"So, how come you're talking?"
I also don't know,
answered the dog.
Instead of just thinking things, now I can see them too. Do you think it was the book that did it?
Mary decided to explore this strange book even more. She showed the book to some other animals, and one after another, all the animals started talking. And before long, Mary was talking about all sorts of things in the friendliest manner, with a puppy, 3 cats, 2 doves, a parrot, and 5 lizards. All the animals talked as though they'd been talking all their lives, and what amazing, unusual tales they had to tell.
Well, of course. Every person and every animal lead amazing lives.
Lemma the lizard said to Mary. But one day, for no reason, the ancient old book disappeared, and with it went animals' voices. Mary looked everywhere but couldn't find the magic book. She became very sad and upset. She missed talking to her new animal friends so much that she could hardly think of anything else. Then she remembered what Lemma the lizard had said to her. Mary realized that she had hardly spoken to her classmates and that they probably had amazing lives too. So from that day on, Mary started talking more and more to her schoolmates. She tried to find out more about their lives and what they thought and did. In the end, without realizing it, she came to have more friends than anyone else in the whole school. And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called Mary's Amazing Book, written by Winnie Bukeya. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages, as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplements with great children's stories and activities available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
Nelson Mandela once said,
"It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it."
SAFM urges you to identify those in need around you and to do what you can to make a difference to them. Tata Mandela went further to say, what counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we led. SAFM celebrates Mandela Month.
The top stories at 2 o'clock. The N1 in Cape Town reopened to traffic, and Venezuela prepares for the elections. A very good afternoon Disaster Risk Management in Cape Town says all lanes have been reopened on the N1 near Sable Road at Century City. Traffic spokesperson Maxine Bezuidenhout says lanes were closed earlier due to wetland areas reaching full capacity and spilling over onto the roadway. She says traffic is now flowing freely. The Western Cape Infrastructure Department says a part of the N7 near Citrusdal has been reopened following heavy rains 2 weeks ago, which flooded roads and washed away infrastructure. Spokesperson Yandre Bakker says a section of the link from Citrusdal to the N7 completely washed away, but plans to rebuild the road are underway.
Water levels have dropped to such an extent that these berms have been put back in place. Works to rebuild this road can now start. Depending on the weather and current water levels, works could start as soon as Tuesday, 30 July. The washed away section of MR310 will be built back better when compared to its previous state by surfacing road shoulders as protection for overtopping and introducing rockfill embankment support to the compacted layer works. Resurfacing the rebuilt section will follow later.
The annual judiciary report has revealed that superior courts achieved 85% of their performance target for the 2022-23 financial year. The judiciary had set 13 targets and achieved 11. 2 performance targets were not achieved, which among others relate to the performance of finalized constitutional court matters. Chief Justice Raymond Zondo delivered the report in the Constitutional Court in Joburg.
The percentage to which criminal case backlogs was reduced. The target that the judiciary had fixed for all superior courts was that backlogs should be reduced to at least 30%. Taking all the superior courts, we were not able to achieve that target. We were only able to reduce backlog up to the average of 47%.
Vodacom's Pinky Vathelingham has confirmed that there's information that does not correlate between evidence supplied by a police cell phone data analyst and what she has supplied pertaining to alleged calls between one of the Senzo Meyiwa accused and singer Kelly Khumalo. Retired cell phone data analyst Lambert Stein previously testified that Khumalo and accused number 5 were in communication twice in 2014 prior to the murder of the Bafana Bafana captain. Vathelingham is under cross-examination at the High Court in Pretoria, where 5 men are on trial for Meyiwa's murder. Defense counsel Zandile Mshololo has requested Vathelingham to go through the similarities and differences between the Vodacom call data and Stein's evidence.
So in light of the discrepancies that we have brought to the attention of the court, do you see now that there has been a tampering, because the information is not the same? It may be a tampering, it may be a change, it may be a format, maybe you can explain. Can you see now that there is a change on the same transaction from the document that you furnished the state and the document that is contained in Exhibit O?
I can confirm that there is information that does not correlate.
And final rallies have been held in Venezuela ahead of a pivotal presidential election on Sunday. President Nicolas Maduro, who's trailing in the polls, has told supporters in Caracas that voters had a choice between war and peace. The BBC's Leonardo Rocha.
Speaking at his final campaign rally in Caracas, Mr. Maduro said the election would decide the future of Venezuela for the next 50 years. He described the opposition as fascist, will be controlled by the United States and other foreign powers. The opposition candidate Edmundo González said the time had come to re-establish democracy and prosperity in Venezuela after 25 years of socialism. Opinion polls suggest that Mr. González will win Sunday's presidential election by a wide margin, but many fear Mr. Maduro won't accept the result. A week ago, he said there would be a bloodbath if he lost.
The top story at 2 o'clock, Disaster Risk Management in Cape Town says all lanes have been reopened on the N1 near Sable Road at Century City. The Full Circle continues. For SAFM News, ke Modupi Makgalemele.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Phuma nankosi ndiyaphuma ndifihle kwingozi nentsha nayo yonke imimoya thatha indawo njengosomandla sindisa impilo yami kwababantu abalunganga kuba namhlanje ndibonile uba silwe nenyanga silwa nemimoya namhlanje ndibonile uba asilwe nabantu thina silwa nemimoya asilwe nabantu thina asilwe nabantu thina silwa nemimoya asilwe nabantu thina asilwe nabantu thina silwa nemimoya silwa nemimoya silwa ezinye izinto azilungi noma ungazama zibanjwe emoyeni ezimfazwe sizibonileyo aziqali namhlanje ziqale emoyeni ngoba emoyeni kuyaliwa emoyeni 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 kuyaliwa asilwi nabantu asilwi nabantu silwa nemimoya asilwi nabantu asilwi nabantu silwa nemimoya 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 silwa nemimoya.
It is Natty coming through with Imimoya, kicking off 2 o'clock and bringing us to 10 past 2. Oh, by the way, just before we get into this conversation, I'm just casting my eyes on the 24-hour news channels that we keep running here at the station. We keep our eyes on all the news channels. And right now, the Chief Justice, Raymond Zondo, is giving a media briefing. Of course, we know that Justice Mandisa Maya has now officially been named the incoming Chief Justice of the country. And she's going to be taking over in the springtime from Justice Zondo. In fact, she was the front-running candidate when those interviews were done about 2 years ago, just before Justice Zondo's appointment. And she's taking to the role now, making her the first Chief Justice of the female gender in the country, and one of the few in the world, in fact, who happens to be female. It's been interesting to also see the discourse and the conversation around her appointment, because I think so far we are all in agreement that she's the best suited candidate for the job. And it's been lovely to also see women within the legal fraternity just looking back and pointing out the fact that, yes, we acknowledge that she becomes the first female justice for the Republic. And yes, it's an historical moment. And it means that women have broken through the concrete ceiling, within sort of the judiciary. The males in studio are chuckling. It is a concrete ceiling at times. But also just a lot of people underpinning the fact that, putting her gender aside, she's just the best qualified candidate, period. When you look at her tenure as a judge, when you look at her contributions to the legal profession, when you look at how she's been the first of so many things, but also when you look at her posture as a leader, and how she leads from the heart and leads with a consciousness and an awareness to really leave the door open for others to come through. And I think it speaks to her. It speaks to the mentors that she's had. It speaks to the cohort of females within the sector that she rose up with as a young lawyer herself. And I'm pretty sure, I think we can all bank on it. They say never bank on human beings, but I think we can all bank on the fact that she is about to do a stellar job and make us all proud as South Africans. And yes, if you're watching us on streaming, I did fluff my collar when I said that. It was a natural instinct because of just the gravitas of the person that is taking to that particular seat. Nothing against Justice Zondo, by the way. I just think as women right now, we're fluffing ourselves up even a little bit more. But now, though, we get into another conversation, and we're looking at the forthcoming 67 Minutes of Hope concert that's going to be hosted in Bedfordview. And they say that it is an unmissable event that's featuring over a dozen performers in a feast of song, dance, and poetry. And we've got joining us Bridget Masinga, who is a teacher there as well as head of community services for the Home of Hope for Girls. And she's going to be speaking on behalf of the school as well as the Home of Hope for Girls, who are one of the stakeholders for this concert. And Alicia Powell, who is a student and chairperson of community services and who's going to be part of the production. Let me start with you, Bridget. How are you doing today?
Hi, Bridget. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It's always so awkward when we, chat to teachers, because then the 13, 14-year-old girl in me wants to go, yes, Mrs. Besterfield.
Whatever you say.
But we thank you for taking the time this afternoon. Let's talk about this incredible collaboration. And you guys are partnering up for honoring of Mandela and, of course, Mandela Day, which was a couple of weeks ago. Mandela Month is still very much in full swing. And as a schooling community, you decided, let's stand up and be amongst those who are counted in the 67 minutes of honoring.
Yes, definitely. So our school motto actually is "We shall give back," and we really try to make every day a day where we do give back. And of course, with Mandela Day, we had we had a lot of support from the kids, the parents, the teachers. We managed to raise a lot of money, and we made over 11,000 sandwiches. The kids actually made them, which was really great, as well as supporting Home of Hope with donations and the Night of 1,000 Drawings, which we also did. That was just obviously on Mandela Day, but we have been working with Home of Hope for about 4 years now. So we started, just by getting some of our students to assist Home of Hope with some of their homework and expressions and tutoring. And we started it 4 years ago, and it's just become an amazing opportunity for our kids as well as the Home of Hope girls. And but both of them seem to love it. So we've really developed nice relationships. And I think that was really my aim, was just to get, sort of make good relationships and solid relationships with another organization.
Yeah.
And to get our kids to also, just make friends that way, and just see people from different walks of life.
Absolutely. It also speaks to just, I guess, the school culture at campus and what Redham House, Bedford View wants to actually nurture within their schooling population.
Definitely.
The sense of being part of community.
Yeah. And we really want to start, just start it at home and get all the kids to sort of feel that connection and, have that desire and want, need to go out and to help people within our immediate community, but also obviously going a bit bigger as well. So we do try lots of sort of different organizations in our area, and then a few others a little bit outside of our area.
Yeah.
So I think it's about three opportunities a week that kids can go out and volunteer, but there's probably 20 so opportunities throughout the year. Every sort of term that our students can go also and volunteer, and just I suppose getting out of your comfort zone a little bit,
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit, Brigitte, as well about the Home of Hope for Girls in Johannesburg. Give our listeners some history there in as far as the home, when it was established, and of course the kind of work that they do and the girls that they look after.
Yeah, so I met them, like I said, about 4 years ago, and I think they've been going, it's about 10 years. The lady one of the ladies who's running it at the moment, Mama Kanya, she had her own business, but then she saw a need to help a lot of girls who were trafficked or abused. And she took over the role as sort of heading the Hope for Girls. So there's two different sites in Johannesburg, quite close to Bedford View. And there's about 75 girls in the homes that they cater for. And each home has a number of carers that look after, or moms, I suppose you can call them, who look after the girls. And then some of the girls that actually finish or matriculate, they sometimes come back as well and then act as sort of mentors to the younger girls. And there's a variety of ages from grade 4 to matric. And like I say, a few of them are now in university, but they do stay there and mentor the girls as well. So they all the kids have been either found or taken from places where they are being either abused or neglected, and then they go to Home of Hope for Girls, where they just go through a whole process of just, I suppose, getting better and healing from whatever traumas, and just getting love, and support, and having people sort of seeing them as who they are, that they are enough, they are valued, and that the world loves them,
Very important, that part. Let's hold it for a second as we pause for a quick break, and then we'll come back on the other side of this and continue our conversation. And of course, Elisa, I haven't forgotten about you. We're going to jump you in the second half.
Nothing beats the feeling of relaxing on your couch after a long, hard day, getting rid of those work clothes and feeling the freedom of being in your PJs. Throwing off that lace front, undoing your hair, that makeup, voila, gone. It's going to be a quiet, relaxed night. Well, not on S3. Bring a whole lot of vroom to your weeknights with Top Gear Season 16. Monday to Wednesday at 10 p.m. and Top Gear specials such as Top Gear from A to Z and Top Gear The Races. Friday nights from 9 to 11 p.m. Channel your inner vroom with BBC Primetime. Only on S3. Open up.
Yeah, we can do this. It's been a long time coming. This deserves to grow. It's a great business. If they don't like it, someone else will. And fund me so I can expand. Maybe I can offer them shares. I need to retain equity for staff. It's going to be good for recruitment. Yeah.
Possible begins with that one great idea. When Telkom enables entrepreneurs to make their ingenuity a reality, we grow local economies. Telkom. Possible begins here.
It's either you have it or you don't. The Watermaster demonstrated what it takes to eventually lay your hands on gold. Cameron Vanderberg won the 100-meter breaststroke gold medal at the 2012 Summer Olympics in a new world record time of 58.46 seconds.
Still got a good lead, Vandenberg. Katajima won't get there. Does he get the world record, Vandenberg? He's done the lot in one big swim.
What a performance. Celebrate. Well done, Cameron Vanderberg. South Africa wins gold.
Vanderberg also represented South Africa at the 2008 and 2016 Olympics. He has won numerous world championship medals since his debut in 2007 when he took a bronze. Magical moments of the Olympics. Brought to you by SABC Sport, proud broadcaster of the Olympic Games Paris 2024.
For the love of the game.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
It is indeed the full circle as we prepare to wrap up the week in the final moments of the show. We're catching up with Brigitte Basterfield, who is a teacher and community service leader out at the Redham House in Bedford View. And of course, Alyssa Powell, who's a student there and chairperson of community services and part of this production. So they've had a whole host of activities in commemorating Nelson Mandela's birthday, and they've had an extended month of 67 minutes of activity, and part of that includes the 67 Minutes of Hope concert that they are taking part in, and of course benefiting from that will be Home of Hope for Girls in Johannesburg. Elisa Powell, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. And you? How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Okay, let's start with the most important part. What grade are you in?
I'm in matric.
Oh, fabulous. You are almost done.
Yes.
You are almost done. And how has school been over the last 5 years or so? How has the journey been?
It's been hard, but good.
It's been hard, but good. And you're looking forward to everything that 2025 has in store for you?
Yes, definitely.
Lovely. So I'm not going to ask you about, the pressures and what's on the cards, where are we going to study, what are we going to study. We'll save that for January 2025. So for today, let's focus on the work that you are doing as part of this production. I know that you are involved with 67 Minutes of Hope concert. Why was it important for you as a student at Redham to be a part of the Mandela Day initiatives?
Well, first of all, I've been working with them. As Ma'am said, we've been working with them for 4 years. So they come every Monday and I tutor some of the girls. So I've gotten to know them. And I really wanted to be involved because they are really talented girls and to showcase what they can do.
Now, by way of production, what sort of part of the production are you involved in? Are you one of the performers? Are you part of the crew? What's your capacity?
I'm more kind of helping with the crew, what they need, and also when these people come in and come to watch, I help with seating and stuff.
I see. All right. The importance of young folks sort of coming out of their own communities, moving away from their own luxuries of life and being a part of other spaces and other communities that might be a little less fortunate or not be in a place of privilege. Why is it so important for you guys as students to extend yourselves in such meaningful and impactful ways?
It's so important because we are such privileged kids and we go to such a privileged school that we have the chance to give back, because with privilege comes responsibility.
Absolutely. With privilege definitely comes responsibility. What can you tell me about the performances that are coming up as part of 67 Minutes of Hope concert? What can people look forward to?
Well, I heard them yesterday. They are singing and they are basically making what would you describe as percussion with their bodies as well. And then there'll be poetry and dancing.
Oh, all right. Sounds like quite the jam-packed agenda. Brigitte, Talk to us about the performances. As we've heard Alicia alluding, there's dancing, there's poetry, there's music. And what does that look like on the night?
Wow. Well, I tell you, I actually saw one of their performances earlier this year. In March, they did one at one of the homes. And they did it there. They had set up their driveway, and it was amazing. Like they'd, just transformed this driveway into and I heard it there, and I just, it's like there were songs, so some songs obviously sung by the girls. There was poetry, but like really, I suppose emotional and raw and real poetry that a lot of the girls had written. There was also some dances. I think we had a hip hop dance, we had a Bollywood dance, we had some South African dances, and just a mix of different things.
Yeah.
But it was really, really amazing. And I just remember saying to them, "Listen, we have to do this on a bigger scale. Like, please have to see this." And we just left it at that, thinking, "Oh, it'll come," And then they asked, would it be okay if they, if we could use the hall and that? And it was like, yeah, no, for sure. So we're super excited. Girls, they saw the stage for the first time on Monday, and their eyes were just open because I don't think they realized how big it was. And so they were a bit hysterical, but it was lots of fun to see their reaction. And then we started our practicing yesterday, and of course there's really amazing lighting and sound and all of that in the hall. So it's going to be another level, I think, for them, and they're super excited. So we would love all the support. I think the tickets are on Quicket, so if anybody wants to go and take a look at Quicket, then they can come. We've got a show. We've got 2 shows tomorrow, so one at 11 o'clock and one at 3 o'clock, and then we've got a show on Sunday at 3 o'clock. And as far as I know, there's a couple of tickets, or quite a couple of tickets left, so we'd love anybody who's interested to come and see some real talent to please come for those 67 minutes and support the girls.
It sounds like a wonderful initiative between Redham House, Bedford View, and of course the Home of Hope for Girls in Johannesburg. And they've got a home in Cerraldine as well as one in Kensington. If anybody wants to go out there and be a benefactor for the well-deserving girls, over 80 girls who are currently call the Home of Hope for Girls their home. And as you heard from Brigitte, 2 shows on tomorrow, 11 and 3. And then on Sunday, we've got 3 p.m. And those tickets are available at Quicket. So if you want to go and book yourself a ticket, for yourself and your family, that's where you go on Quicket. It is 67 Minutes of Hope, the 67 Minutes of Hope concerts. You've figured it out by now that it's a 1 hour, 7-minute show, hence the 67 Minutes of Hope. Brigitte Basterfield, thank you so much for the time. And Elisa Powell, who's a student out at Redham House, Bedford View. And of course, Brigitte, who is a teacher out there. It's fast approaching 2:30 in just a minute or so. And then on the other side of 2:30, we're going to come back and have a quick catch up with Xoli Mngwango. I hope Xoli sobona phambili, but Xoli Mngwango, who is a musician, started off with Joyous Celebration in the mid-2010s, around 2010, somewhere around there, and is becoming one of South Africa's most celebrated contemporary gospel voices. And Samgelo Ndlovu, who is no stranger to our screens. She is a South African film and television actress. She's just come off the back of a lovely second season of Reka, which was a DSTV production, and she's also done something for Showmax. Oh, it's just escaping me now. But it was quite popular with the younger Adulting. There we go. Adulting season 2, quite popular with the younger audiences. And she's going to be joining us as well for the second half of that conversation. We were trying to get her in studio, but the shooting schedule just didn't allow. And so we re-engineered our clock so that we could at least have a few moments with her today. 2:30, Madupi is bringing you the headline news.
Thank you very much, Sister Bridge, and good afternoon. In your headlines, Chief Justice Raymond Zondo has emphasized the importance of the judiciary being accountable to the public for its performance. Disaster Risk Management in Cape Town says that all lanes have been reopened on the N1 near Sable Road at Century City, and former U.S. President Barack Obama has endorsed U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris to be the Democratic presidential nominee, ending days of speculation over whether he'd support her. A full news update coming up 3 o'clock.
S3 is bringing you the best in Indian cinema every Sunday at 2 p.m. Laugh, dance, get drawn into the drama, revved up with the action, and maybe, just maybe, shed a little tear. Catch Gagi on the 7th of July, Selfie on the 14th, Prince on the 21st, and Laila Majnu on the 28th. It's Indian cinema like you've never seen it before. Channel your best entertainment with Indian cinema only on S3. Open up.
S3. The great flavor of African football will be demonstrated when Mzansi's Kaizer Chiefs FC tackle Tanzanian Giants Young African Sports Club. The Kosi Nation says, "Rise, Kosi, rise," while the boys from the East strongly believe in their slogan, "Daimambele Nyuma Muiko." This is the Toyota Cup. Witness the massive battle between Amakosi and Yanga on Sunday, 28 July at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC 1 and Lisedi FM. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
We are in the final stretch, the final lap of the show. Xoli Mngwango joins us now, and Xoli started her career with Joyous Celebration around 2010, and since then has become one of South Africa's best contemporary gospel voices. And of course, we thought we'd catch up with her on the back of her debut album, which was released in 2020, 4 years ago, and wondering what other fabulous projects are in the cards for 2024. How are you doing, Xoli?
I'm doing very great, Titi, and how are you? Thank you for having me today.
I'm great. I'm fabulous. Thank you for making the time. Why would a nervous laugh when I put the pressure about other projects?
I'm so Rico, yeah.
You mustn't have a nervous laugh, Xoli. You must just tell us, Uguti, the project will come when it comes.
Hey, the project will come, man, but not now.
Let's talk about your journey with Joyous Celebration. There's been so many incredible artists that have been part of that machinery over the last 20-something years. How was the journey for you?
It was a great one, to be honest with you. Great one with its own challenges. I think in life, once you always know your why, it makes it so easy to be in a place and not be consumed by any distraction, you know, but also just I think it was one of those beautiful, which I think I will never in my life ever forget that role that Joyous Celebration played in my life. However, I'll be honest with you, I had a big why, you know, that was driving me. Every time I feel like just sitting and relax, I would always remember why I'm here. Yeah.
It's interesting. You know, I almost thought maybe you were going to have a negative review.
Not at all. Let me tell one thing I've learned. Joyous is like a school or any other organization. There are good and bad things, negative and positive things. However, they are all meant to build you.
Yes.
Because without seeing the negative, you wouldn't know the positive. Without seeing the positive, you wouldn't know the negative. So anything that is in the organization is there to build you, strengthen your values, strengthen your firm ground. So the only really negative thing I can say that was there. It's just really just being in a place with different people from different backgrounds and all and all. However, that has helped me to be able to stand outside Joyous with different people again. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So
Totally.
really the negatives is really not where I put more focus on.
Yeah, I just want to put you on pause for a second here as we try to get to a quieter corner, and then we'll come back and continue our conversation.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM.
So it's not because you're getting good treatment.
No. Prison is hell, my brother.
All
Let
right.
me tell you, prison is not a place to go then and have this fun.
Okay. Does this give the impression that prison is not hell, and therefore it's saying a bad image?
Yes, of course. This is a waiting trial saying this. He doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. For him, it's nice there, and it's been set up. And I can tell you the attention that they have attracted. That prison is going to make sure that correctional officers are doing their job, and I hope the message will be spread.
Miles Budu, who's the national spokesperson for the South African Prisoners Organization for Human Rights.
The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda. Weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m. The Chill Zone with Bertha Charuma.
For people that are already married, if someone gets unemployed, if your partner gets unemployed, I suppose it's understandable. How do you navigate through something of this nature? Because you'll be judged. If you come across as a lady who meets someone, maybe just recently been laid off, and you're dating this guy, family members may look at you with an eye that says, why are you doing that yourself?
Relationships on their own are what I call a conundrum that needs to be solved on a daily basis. They are so much work. It adds to the pressure when finances are involved, and it becomes a notch higher and worse when there's lack of finances. And it's a topic that we really can't run away from, because at the end of the day, people say that money makes the world go around.
Pindile Ndimande, that's life coach, personal development coach, and pastor.
Bertha Charuma on SAFM. Fridays, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga. Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
It was just whispered to me that Oli is actually in transit at the airport, and hence the ambient background. But we will continue with our conversation.
Sorry about
Don't
that.
apologize. No need to apologize. Let's talk about your debut solo album, Jesus is Enough. I feel as if the title in itself lends itself to a testimony, but I'll let you tell me what the inspiration was.
Jesus is Enough is my first album, which was released 2020, which is still doing very well. And it was my first time as Ukoli alone. So what I really needed to know was that for people to know that for me, there's nothing else but Jesus and Jesus alone. So I had to let it know that Jesus is enough and will always be enough. I don't know how much time do I have, but I can tell you how I got the theme and how God confirmed it in my spirit. Through life change experiences where you kind of have to feel lonely, and you hear vividly the voice of the Lord saying, I am with you, I am with you, I am with you. That's when I knew that, you know what, man, Jesus is enough. That's all we need in life. If you have him, you have all. So we have songs like Healing Power, we have songs like Pila, Yebo Nkosi, and it's amazing how till today I'm getting testimonies about or from the album, and it's so humbling. It's really one of those humbling things.
Now, your sophomore album, Unusual,
yeah.
and you say this continued on the themes from your first album.
Yes, definitely. It's a continuation of my journey, my journey, that if you uqala ngokwamukela yena umenze akwanele umenze abe impilo yakho nje.
Yeah.
And then you gotta experience all these benefits zokuba kuKristu. You gotta experience all these benefits of being a child of God, walking with authority, knowing that you are loved in a very unusual way. You are covered in a very unusual way. God, when you need a healer, He's a healer. When you need a friend, He's a friend. Oh, what an unusual love. And that's what I'm experiencing, and that's what I'm going through, and that's what I'm sharing with the world. And that's what I want them to know and experience. So the unusualness is just a continuation of from Jesus is enough.
I don't want you to miss your flight. I can tell you are now moving, and I'm presuming that you're probably rushing towards a gate. So please do let me know if I can still steal 1 minute of your time, or you are now boarding.
Good.
Okay,
yes, I'm good now.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's also talk a little bit about, as much as you are essentially a contemporary gospel artist, but you've also collaborated over the years with quite a variety of musicians, the likes of Jube Jube, for instance. I don't know if you want us to even mention his name.
Definitely. Part of my journey.
And the likes of Benjamin Dube. What's that like when you step into other music genres and start to sort of play with other children in different spaces?
You know what? That's why I'm saying there's nothing I have done because it's part of who I am today. Even the people that I've worked with, it's like Nkulunkulu knew that I needed all that knowledge, I needed all that experience, I needed all that different characters and experiences for me to know what kind of sound I want, for me to know music is a business besides singing, for me to have all those knowledge and know what sustains Pastor Benjamin is a legend now. What sustains him till this far? Because I believe that we don't have to repeat the mistakes of other people. What is it that I can do? What is it that he can teach me? So for me, working with all these different artists, it was beyond just music alone. It was just also a lot of things. And again, remember, I had my whys and I knew. And I had to know, I had to answer that. Every gig, by the way, every gig that I would take, even now, I still ask, why am I doing this gig? And then I so I've worked with Kaya, I've worked with Mahali, I've worked with a lot of them, but I tell you now, they are all their contribution to my career is beautiful today. It has built this woman to be this woman that she is today with all that experience I've gained from them.
What I'm hearing from you, Xoli, is that you definitely have a teachable spirit. You've entered the space with an openness and a teachability. And that seems to have worked very much so in your favor.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, I agree with you, Susan. Even when I entered Joyous, so I'm from a church I've been serving all of my life. So when Joyous saw me, I was just leading worship at church, and they said, Monday we're rehearsing, And imagine if I have disobeyed God and said, no, God, I'm not serving at church. So then I from there, I realized, open your heart to learning. Every time you meet people, know that there's something you got to take and something you got. Just open up your heart for learning. And I tell you now, I get into doors. If I do not know something, I say it very well. Right now, I do not know. Please explain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to me. And for me, that's what has made. Outside music, I've started businesses with zero knowledge, but I know exactly. I can sit down with someone and say, take me through this. Let me do. And all you need in this world is just a spirit of learning. Have spirit of fundisega. I don't know how to. I love that. I don't know how to stress that more. There's never a point where you feel like you've arrived. There's never a point where you feel like, nah, I got this. Just you can learn things from someone who has a in your life. So I definitely, and I'm intentional with that. Hence, maybe sometimes it will make me look like I was born with who you are. But it's just a matter of knowing that, hey, we can learn so much from the next person,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Your thoughts and maybe your words of wisdom or advice for for young artists or aspiring artists getting into the space, whether it be gospel or other spaces.
Yeah, I think I will go back to what we've just spoke about, which are, have a spirit of a teachable spirit, and just be okay with knowing that someone will know better than you. Someone will have better experience for that is more than yours, but it's for you to learn, And there's no arriving. There's always room for improving than arriving. Someone said to me, "You spend most of your time in the journey. Might as well enjoy the journey than destination."
Absolutely.
And I've realized that there's no destination. We are all in the journey, so might as well just enjoy your journey. Keep on learning. Have fun, and take time to pause when it's time to pause. That's really how I do my life, and I the simplest way. I hope that made sense to you.
It makes perfect
and never
sense.
Stop trying. Never stop trying. Some days you feel like you have got it. Some days you feel like I don't know what I'm doing. But never stop trying. Faith is a substance of things hoped for, not seen.
Oh, I like that. Faith is a substance of things hoped for and not seen. We should borrow that to Kamala Harris, because I think it said so succinctly. Oli, thank you so much for the time today, and safe travels to your final destination.
I'm sorry for my noisy
No,
background.
please do
Thank
not
you so
apologize. There's nothing to
Thank
apologize
you.
for. That was Oli Mwango, who is, of course, a South African gospel artist. And she's currently got 2 albums out. Her debut album, Jesus Is Enough, and then her sophomore album, Unusual. So if you want to go and see her catalog of work, I'm sure wherever you download music, it is available. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we come back on the other side, and then we wrap up the show with South African film and television actress Samgelo Ndlovu is going to be joining us, reflecting back on over 10 years in the film and television industry.
I'm Michelle Constant. Join the JSB crew and I every Saturday and Sunday morning between 7 and 10 a.m. We promise to keep you informed and entertained with innovation, culture, cars, travel, life learnings, environment, and of course, your big fat juicy. Small stories, big ideas, massive inspiration. The Jet Set Breakfast on SAFM.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide with me, KG Mweketi.
Who says talking never solves anything? SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
I threw that shade, as the young people call it. They call it shade because when Kamala Harris was officially announced as the Democratic runner towards the election, then I stumbled on American Twitter, and they were busy talking. And a thread had started around something that she uniquely loves to say. And she likes to say, what can be unburdened by what has been. And everyone's trying to say, what are you saying? And it seems as though the general consensus is nobody knows, but it's provocative. And that's just been her messaging from, the very onsets of their first election campaign with Joe Biden. What can be unburdened by what has been. And there's a whole host of clips online where people have created montages of that and trying to decipher, what are you saying, Madam VP? But right now, though, we are catching up with South African film and television actress Samgelo Ndlovu. And she's got well over 10 years of experience now in the world of acting. She is SAFTA nominated with just really a talent that goes to such interesting places. And we had the pleasure as South African television consumers of getting into your role on Reka and getting into your role on Adulting, and they almost played in the same season back to back across different networks. But we were able to see your range as an actress in real time. How incredible is it to be so talented, so immensely talented? How are you doing this afternoon?
Hi, Bridget. How are you? Thanks for having me. I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much. I mean, you can't shy away from it, right? I'm sure you get this all the time, not just from your circle of friends and your family, but from random strangers in the street who just go, Batung, how so talented.
That's so true. I know. And it feels really good to be back, because I did take a 2-year sabbatical from pretty much anything creative. So it felt good to come back and to be received with such love. I personally did not know that that both productions would be airing at the same time. And I am very I'm quite specific about the roles that I take. There's some roles that I say no to, and there's some that I love. And with these two, they are absolutely two polar opposites, which is why you mentioned range. But God was like, actually, let's show it to them in real time. I think it took about 8-10 months to edit Reka. So I shot it at the beginning of the year, but then Adulting came out first.
Yeah.
And then they were sort of on at the same time, which was pretty cool. So I do get that comment a lot from people, from strangers, from loved ones who are fans, from loved ones who are in my personal life. And it's a good reminder that I am needed in this space and I am loved in this space, and it's quite affirming.
Yeah. Do sabbaticals help creatives as well, just sort of to re-energize and perhaps to also refuel that creative cup in order for you to go out there and tackle projects and really give your full and rich interpretation of a character?
Absolutely. I mean, you said it, it gives you that moment because I think for the longest time, I've been pouring out of this cup that I thought was ever flowing. But in truth, I am a mirror to society. I portray real human beings, and I can't lie to humans about being human.
Yeah.
And so I need to keep going back to real life to find references. And even though it might not be experiences that are particularly in my direct life, it puts me in a space where I have the space and the time and the capacity to experience it while it happens to somebody else, or to see it, or to hear about it, or to understand a certain story about a certain woman. And it has given me more colors, and it has given me more textures, and I've filled up my book of tricks, and I'm ready to go again for another 14 years.
And you know what I love about you also prioritizing the rest and prioritizing that element of life to refill oneself. As creatives, particularly, not even particular to South Africa or exclusive to South Africa, as creatives in general, there's a scarcity mentality where creatives are often chasing the next thing out of fear that opportunity will, surpass them. And we know what that means in a tangible world, the risk of not knowing where your next
paycheck is coming from.
Exactly. And those thoughts, I gather when you decide to take a break, you weed through all of that, but you also then say, no, it's important for me to break from this so that I can come back bigger, better, stronger.
Yes, it is important. And, I definitely do speak from a place of privilege because the idea came to me sooner than when I did it, which means I had more time to prepare mentally. I had more time to prepare my space and prepare myself financially as well to know that, hey, you won't be working. And I think it speaks to the climate of our industry.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too deep and start talking about IP and how American actors can stop working for 10 or 20 years but still earn $1 million a year just from a Friends episode they made 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I won't get into that, but it speaks to the climate. It speaks to how we are living as artists, as creatives in the country. A lot of us are living hand to mouth. And so that's why I say I speak from a place of privilege, because it dawned on me sooner than when I actually did it. I didn't think about it this week and then do it the very next week. It had been a couple of years where the idea was simmering, and I really, had to look at other avenues of how can I sustain myself without having to do this one thing that has sustained me and given me the life that I live and the lifestyle that I have. And it's important. It's important to take a break and to take a breather. And if you look at it, you look at my work, I mean, it speaks for itself. You look at other artists and creatives and musicians as well who take breaks and they come back, and you're like, oh, the last album we heard was 3 or 4 years ago, and it comes back and she's back with a bang again.
Yeah.
And you forget that you didn't hear her for the last 3 or 4 years. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it is important to answer your question. And yes, it is. And I think artists, creatives, actors, film and television makers, musicians, they should prioritize it, because I think nobody really prioritizes our mental health for us. So I think we should do it for ourselves.
Absolutely. And one day we will convene a roundtable and talk around IPs, because as you use Friends as an example, for instance, we know from conversations with a host of creatives stateside, the rest of the continent, it is the anomaly. They too have their own uphill battles with issues around IP and, not being remunerated accordingly for their work. Just in the last moments, Samgelo, I mean, you have been on so many productions, whether we're talking Soul City, Generations, Skim Sam, Zone 14, Imbew, and now give us a little bit. Queendom, that is where we can find you now on BET's Queendom.
Yes, oh my goodness, yes. Queendom is on BET. It's a daily drama. It plays Monday to Thursday. And it's a very interesting show, and the people are loving it. It's the first season. It's got a whole lot of stars. So I can guarantee anyone who's listening right now that their favorite is there. If I'm not their favorite, their favorite is definitely there, because there's so many stars, namely Cindy Latu, Hamilton Dlamini, Duduzi Mabaso, Dawn Tandega King, Samkelo Ndlovu. So it goes on, and I think it's such a beautiful show, because it looks at heritage, it looks at belonging, it looks at being a queen in your own right. We don't all have that fantasy come true of possibly being from a royal family, and then one day some uncle comes and he says, hey, you are a princess, you need to take your place. We don't all have the luxury of having that fantasy come to life like our lead character does on the show, but it also delves into being your own queen in your own queendom and creating your own space and taking up space, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I think it's very current, and people should definitely watch it, those who haven't seen it yet.
Thank you so much for the time, and here's to another 14 years of you gracing our screens as well as the big screens. That was actress Samkelo Ndlovu joining us today as we wrap up the show. It's been a long day for some of us on this side of the microphone. I can't tell you, I'm so happy to put this week in the rearview mirror. It's been a good week, but it's in some parts it's been a long week, and you never want your Friday to be heavy lifting, and Friday's been heavy lifting since the wee hours of the morning. If you're out and about this weekend, enjoying yourself with friends and family, have a great time. Remember to capture all the memories, and if you're going to be on the road, half the fun is enjoying the journey. You'll get there when you get there. Inshallah, God willing, we get to do it again.
The top stories at 3 o'clock. 3 SA locations declared World Heritage Sites, and the N1 in Cape Town reopened to traffic. A very good afternoon. 3 historical sites, including the Diepkloof Rock Shelter near Elands Bay and the Pinnacle Point in Mossel Bay, have just been declared World Heritage Sites. This was announced at the 46th session of the World Heritage Committee in Delhi, India. The Western Cape sites, as well as the Sibudu Cave in KZN, were entered under the category Emergence of Modern Human Behavior. 11 South African locations are now recognized